You might have heard about the Boring Company's latest project, the Las Vegas Loop, which is 3 taxi stands under a convention center connected by a 2-way tunnel where we can drive sports cars.
This dude has done so many videos on the Hyperloop, dude. Oh my god, he hates the Hyperloop.
Real fast. But have you also heard about Elon Musk's other project? It's called the Dugout Loop, and incredibly it's even stupider than the Las Vegas Loop. It was already bad enough to build tunnels for Tesla cars that operate as taxis, but wait until you get a load of this shit. So they wanted to connect the Vermont Sunset Metro station with Dodger Stadium. Having been built in the 60s, the stadium of course has no good public transportation connection, because, you know, cars. And so the parking lot of the stadium is more than 12 times the size of the actual stadium. When I first saw this photo, I thought this was some kind of 3D render with some like low-res terrain textures around the stadium, and then I saw that it's just a parking lot. It's like, holy shit, like this looks bad. And so let's talk about urban planning, the place where you should actually start when you want to fix traffic issues instead of going with these
how dare you
flashy bullshit projects. In front of you, you can see the Great Strahovski Stadium of Prague, which is about 2 times the size of Dodger Stadium. And next to it, there are 3 other stadiums actually, 2 mid-sized and 1 smaller. Now, Strahovski is an absolute monster. It can accommodate 250,000 people, of which 56,000 seated, which also happens to be the total capacity of Dodger Stadium. And next to it is the Evgena Roshitského Stadium with a capacity of 19,000 people. So these are the available parking areas around the stadiums, marked with red. Now, having just seen that disaster show around the Dodger Stadium, you might ask, how the f*** is this possible? And the answer is, of course, good public transportation.
I was about to say, that's the country with public transportation. What do you mean? It's fucking entirely different than the United States of America, a country that has really horrible public transportation.
Now, the metro lines don't actually stop at the stadium. As you can see, the green and the yellow metros actually give a wide berth to the stadium itself. So how do people get to the matches? By buses and trams that all stop next to or near the stadiums. And there's also a cable car actually. And I'm telling you all this to show you that even the largest stadium in the world, plus 3 other stadiums around it, could be served by adjacent tram and bus lines. You know, it's not like there's a metro line stopping underneath the stadium or something. Instead, what you do is get off at the tram station and walk over to the stadium. Or, you know, just take a bus. So with this in mind, let's return to Dodger Stadium. The Boring Company wanted to start digging from the stadium's parking lot to the Vermont Sunset Station underneath the road, and neatly following its route because of public right-of-way, otherwise they would need to acquire costly easements if they would be tunneling under private property. So this is a picture of the western terminus of the Dugout Loop. Now this is the entire station. This is not part of it, this is the whole thing. Now that being said, can you see what the problem is? I'm gonna leave you a few seconds. Have you noticed? The whole system has 1 tunnel. A single one-way tunnel connecting the metro line and the station.
Dude, what is going on? Why?
With my dad.
Why does anybody let him get away with anything?
Stadium parking lot. So, how is this system supposed to operate? Let's take a look. They plan on running these autonomous electric pods in them, capable of transporting 16 people each. Now, for comparison, that is almost 20% of a regular bus and around 10% of an articulated bus. So right off the bat, we got terrible efficiency. And this is called economy of scale. It's much more economical and environmentally friendly to have one big motor transport a lot of people at the same time than to have lots of smaller motors transporting smaller quantities of people.
Dude, it really fucking pisses me off that Elon Musk gets away with it. It's literally just money, okay? Like, he is an extremely motivated con man who has always been able to fail upwards in a lot of instances, thankfully, because of the government subsidies that he gets.
So here, the logical solution would be to increase the pod's capacity. But then
everyone I work with thinks he's a fucking genius. You must not work with a lot of engineers then.
That can't be done. That's impossible. You see, transporting smaller quantities of people. So here the logical solution would be to increase the pod's capacity. But that can't be done. That's impossible. You see, these are pods. Pods, not a minibus. So yeah, this is a problem you notice with a lot of these futuristic bullshit projects. It's not buses or trains for the sake of not being buses or trains. They're pods. But I'm just gonna call...
Bro, Turks are the fucking king of innovation, dude. Buses used to be really fucking difficult to navigate through, cities. So guess what? They developed minibus, i.e. a minibus, or dolmuş, which means it's full. That's what that means. Dolmuş literally means, oh, it's full. Modern problems require modern solutions. Building out a fucking complex railway system and a subway station is difficult. So you know what Turkish politicians decided to do? They said, oh, we're going to put a bus on that. And we're going to call it, we're going to put a bus on it, but like a fucking metro station, it's going to go on a line. What will we call it? Now, you might have guessed it by now because I'm going off the same meme here. It's called a metro bus. That's right. Innovation. Yep. That's what we did in Istanbul. Elon Musk, come to Turkey. A trolley, a streetcar, not exactly a fucking innovation, brother. Dude, that's the joke, dude. I'm making a joke.
17 months of brain smoothing.
That's literally the joke. The joke is that they were like, yeah, we don't want to build a fucking railway. We can't do a metro station, so we're just going to put a bus on it. Just slap a bus on it and call it Metro Bus. At least they have fucking public transportation in Istanbul, though, so... Financial and corruption allegations. The purchase of the Phileas buses was widely criticized in the media as a waste of resources. In 2007, each Phileas bus cost 1.2 million euros, and a total of 63 million euros was paid by IETT to acquire 50 of them. In contrast, Mercedes-Benz capacity only cost 300,000 euros and proved to be much more useful than the Metro bus. There are reports of the ministry implicating high-ranking IETT officials, including Mehmet Öztürk, former president, indicated that the 63 million euro purchase was made without a tender. Anyway, let's keep going.
All the dugout loop pods minibuses, because that's what they are. And you might think if these vehicles have like a fixed route, basically a single line between...
No, we have articulated buses too. Articulated buses don't work as well. Of course we have articulated buses in Turkey. Are you fucking crazy? What do you think? That's like profound innovation for European countries? No, they have it in Turkey too. But the reason why they have a minibus is because an articulated bus can't go through some of the side roads. Bendy buses. All right, let's keep going.
Point A and point
That shit's bussin'.
B, they would be running on rails. Because, that's the most efficient way of running fixed route things from point A to point B with minimal friction. But nope, the tunnel will be paved and the minibuses will have rubber wheels. I wonder why they just don't sink some rails into the asphalt, like tram tracks, for example, and then have these vehicles have two modes, which is a technology we do have and use. These are road vehicles that can change between rubber wheels and steel wheels. So if the Boring Company didn't want to mess with stuff that is beyond its expertise, like switches, for example, they could just build a long straight tunnel with some tram tracks sunk into the asphalt, and at the beginning and the end, the vehicles just quickly switch between their wheels. But first off, that would look too much like a train, which we can't have, of course. And second, inconvenient questions might arise, such as, okay, why don't we run like a tram in it instead? Or a light metro or something. Yeah, that sounds good. So then, why are we bothering with these minibuses again? Wait, what? No, shut up. The Emperor's clothes are beautiful. It's just that stupid people can't see them. So the trip time between the metro stop and the stadium parking lot will be just under 4 minutes, according to the website. And this will be achieved by these minibuses traveling at up to 150 miles per hour, which is 240 kilometers per hour, on this stretch of 3.6 miles, or 5.8 kilometers. Now the problem is, this doesn't seem to be possible, because the curves are just too goddamn narrow. And if you look at this curve in Normal, Illinois, thanks for the idea, Do Not Eat, this thing was designed for traffic going 100 miles per hour. Which is only 2/3 of what the Boring Company wants to do with the Dugout Loop. So here it is overlaid on the Dugout Loop's route. So as you can see, the Dugout Loop's proposed route would not work with even 100 miles per hour, much less with 150. But putting aside all of that, there's a second problem, namely tire wear. If you don't want too much tire wear, you have to avoid two things: high speeds and frequent acceleration and deceleration, which is incidentally what these minibuses would do. You know, I'm glad that the Boring Company is all about zero emissions, but this noble goal is kind of overshadowed if you're producing tons of rubber waste every month. Man, if only there was a solution. But believe it or not, what you've heard so far is not the stupidest part of this project. So let's move on to how the Boring Company actually plans to operate this thing. Oh boy. So as I said before, the metro stop and the parking lot of the stadium will be...
How does this not trigger you, dude? Like, it literally, when you see Elon Musk, how do you not get fucking mad at everything he does?
Connected by a single...
He is the human manifestation of, like, that VC garbage mentality. Silicon Valley in human form, dude. Shit-ass, stale-ass fucking memes. Epic Reddit memes. And, like, horrible ideas that are repackaged as, like, new and innovative.
Tunnel. And to use it, you need to buy a ticket at the ticket office or in an app, get to the station at the specified time, get transported to the stadium, watch the match, and then go back down to the dugout loop, which will then take you back to the metro stop. As they write on their website, dugout loop operation during games and special events will be event-specific. Generally, transportation from the western terminus to Dodger Stadium will begin prior to event start times. Transport from Dodger Stadium to the western terminus will generally commence sometime following the start of the event. Which is, you know, it's a system where... What? So basically Elon Musk invented a shitty route taxi. And he put a fucking tunnel over it for some reason. So, okay, so... Since this is an extremely time-specific service, meaning it only runs in very, very specific times, why don't we just ditch the tunnel idea? Yeah, so let's have these pods run on the surface, make them bigger, and so voila. Let's call it the Dodger Stadium Express. Now some of you might be saying, hang on a second, the whole point of the dugout loop is that it's a fast, dedicated lane system. To which I say, let's take one of the 5 lanes of the road leading to the stadium and convert 1 or 2 into a bus lane for the time of the event.
Oh, dude. Okay, dude. I mean, he's crazy, this guy.
And if you want to make it really fast, we can employ this technology that every Western European city already employs, called automatic green wave for buses. Right, so let's move on to capacity. The Boring Company website says, initially, dugout loop will be limited to approximately 1,400 people, approximately 2.5% of stadium capacity per...
Elon had a threesome with Cara Delevingne and Umber Turd? Who the fuck is Umber Turd? And are you fucking kidding me? Elon Musk had a threesome with Cara Delevingne? Shut up. Is that real? That makes me so sad. What? Wait, hold on. Oh, God. Oh, Elon Musk denies threesome with Amber Heard and Cara Delevingne. What? With his ex Amber Heard and model Cara Delevingne, the Tesla billionaire gave an exclusive statement to Page 6 after astonishing new claims. Cara and I are friends, but we've never been intimate. She would confirm this. Dude, honestly, he probably, you know what? He probably said, how is your quarantine going? Hopefully it was eventful. I'm just bitter because we matched on Raya and she never replied to me. Okay. That's why I was talking shit there. I fucking said it. I went back and I looked to see what I said. April 19th, 2020. Are you ready for this? I mean, this is Rust. Hope your quarantine is eventful. And then I wrote, you are quarantine. And then I corrected myself and I said, your asterisk, damn it. L. And then Kat was like, oh my God. Please, you're a billionaire. I would love to have sex with you. You're like modern day Tony Stark. That's what happened. And it's like, oh, that's La Epic Bacon. Come over to my millionaire mansion. To my billionaire mansion. Hey, I will let you ride in artificial intelligent Tesla.
Elon bad, am I right?
I haven't been this excited since I've seen jellied eels.
Per event. Based on city and community feedback, it could be possible to increase ridership per game to 2,800 per game or event, 5% of stadium capacity. Between games and events, Dugout would transport 250,000 people per year. Wait, between games? So they actually do want to use this as like normal public transportation outside of events. Okay, so 250,000 people per year. This might sound a lot actually, but as a European, I have to say like this number is nothing. Like this is nothing. This is shit. You don't have anything. This is not public transportation. And to illustrate this point, let's look at the closest thing I know to the dugout loop in Europe. I mean, it sounds funny, but
Maybe the ideas existed before as well, but Elon put it on the map and shouldn't be disregarded. Just like Connor put MMA on the map, it existed before, but they made it mainstream and attractive. No, you're totally right. Like, literally 0 people were thinking about the subway before Elon Musk put it on the map. Or tunnels in general, actually. It's pretty cool that Elon Musk invented tunnels in 2017 when he did a epic Bacon Reddit thread. Kind of wild, dude. You're right. He did popularize it. Like, tunnels, no one was using them. No one knew. People forget that before Elon Musk, many were afraid to be inside of tunnels. Yeah. It's a natural fear that people have, like.
But it's actually kind of similar, and it's the Budapest M1 metro line. Or
what about reusable rockets and electric cars? Yes, once again, reusable rockets and electric cars were not a thing before Elon Musk. Thank you for. The only thing Elon Musk unironically revolutionized is having an auto dealership that also is directly like having your own auto dealership. That's it. He disrupted the insane fucking control that auto dealerships have over individual states. That is unironically the one singular thing that Elon Musk did. Elon invented banks with PayPal. Oh, man. The loop stuff is absolute trash, but his e-cars, his electric vehicles, and rockets are pretty much popularized. Elon Musk's rocket technology is unfortunately a problem that the federal government should be dealing with, but we've outsourced this to fucking SpaceX. I wish it was exclusively in the hands of JPL, but we don't live in a world where NASA still controls all of the space travel. It's also still heavily subsidized by the government. So let me just like stop you right there. You know, not a single thing about rockets at all. It's literally just
51 months. Wow.
NASA scientists that he hired that are still continuing the government subsidized research to build a reusable rocket. Dude, what are you talking about? You aren't an aerospace engineer? Yeah, no shit. And neither is Elon Musk, dumbass. What the fuck are you talking about? Don't make me fucking call my aerospace engineer that I have literally on speed dial. Okay? To win this argument. Because I don't know what the fuck he's doing right now, but he'll be very pissed if I bring him over here because he's probably building some shit in my garage at the moment.
Millenniumi föld alatti vasút, built during the late 19th century and thus was the first electrified metro service on the continent. It was a small, electric, underground, environmentally friendly express service going just underneath the Andrássy Avenue from the city center all the way to the giant park that's behind Hero Square. So what they did was they actually dug out the road, built the tunnels and then filled it back up. It took 2 years to complete and it's operational to this day. Originally they ran these small Siemens carriages on it, which I guess were the pods of the era. And apparently one of the original cars is today in the Seashore Trolley Museum in Kennebunkport, Maine. Which, you know, that's cool. These metro cars were later replaced by trains of Hungarian production, which were higher in capacity, but the system itself is still tiny. This is by no means a regular metro service. It's a little baby line. And yet, this thing transports 80,000 passengers on each workday. And if we assume that the number of passengers is only half on weekends, then this tiny toy metro transports 25,120,000 passengers each year. And so this is what the passenger numbers look like when I put them on a graph. Compared to the toy metro, the dugout loop is barely a statistical error. And if we compare this to a normal metro line like the M3, and using the same formula, we get this graph. I'm showing you this just for the sake of perspective. The dugout loop is nothing. It does nothing. It serves no one. It doesn't even exist when compared to like normal, well-designed systems. And you might be saying, hey, it's a bit unfair to compare the dugout loop to the M3 metro, and yes, it is.
Isn't SpaceX heavily relied on already existing NASA concepts and research, but currently leeching off government funds that should have gone to NASA? Yes, that's literally, you are describing You are describing nearly the entirety of space travel. That is precisely what is going on in every fucking company that engages in it, whether it's Jeff Bezos' personal pet project because he wanted to go to space before everybody else, or Elon Musk with SpaceX. Was it Blue Origin or whatever the fuck Jeff Bezos had? It's all of it. All of it is that. Let's finish this video though.
So I just compare it to the M1, which is actually shorter than the Dugout loop. And they could actually finish it in 2 years using 19th century technology. Meanwhile, the Boring Company said they would do the Dugout loop in 14 months, using Elon's fucking magic space age technology. Hey, but they did say likely much less in parentheses there, so it's okay. You know, construction projects historically finish on time and never get delayed.
Yeah, but is it wrong to look up to him and think of him as an idol? Yes. Yes, he is a con man. Unless you idolize the fact that he was able to consistently dupe a lot of these dumbasses in Silicon Valley and make it seem like he has brilliant innovation almost always when he never had the actual product, then yes. But we do love con men here in America, so...
Delayed. And mind you, it's 14 months for a single tunnel, whereas with the M1 Metro, they had to dig a tunnel twice as wide. And don't forget that they had to build a bunch of stations as well. In contrast, the Las Vegas loop, which is unfortunately happening, took 16 months to complete, while being less than a fourth of the length of the proposed Dugout loop, at 0.8 miles or 1.3 kilometers. So basically the Dugout loop was a complete fucking failure on all levels. Literally, I cannot think of a single aspect which the Dugout loop got right. Its layout is nonsensical, it has no capacity, is not interoperable with any other systems, it has horribly inefficient energy use, and worst of all, had this thing been built, it would have pushed out actually useful public transportation investment in the area. So what would be an actual good solution here? What could the area do instead of the Dugout loop? Well, for example, build a tram. Take 2 lanes from Sunset Boulevard and turn them into dedicated tram tracks. Lord knows there is enough space for that. And this will actually not cause traffic jams, because induced demand works the other way around as well.
Wait, so I didn't realize this. We actually fucking have... We have a Vegas Hyperloop that's in the works. So instead of building high-speed rail, we're now making this dumbass fucking Elon Musk tunnel?
Well, you could put a tram stop next to the stadium and perhaps turn part of the parking lot into actual useful public space, such as a city park or something. In general, though, traffic problems will not go away by just throwing capacity at it, which is what the Boring Company does basically. Oh, your highway is congested? Well, let's just build some more lanes, but underground. Because increasing capacity worked out so well in the past. But here's the thing. Even if they would solve all the traffic problems, even if they would build enough tunnels so that there will be no more traffic jams at all, like anywhere, just zero, that would still be a very, very bad thing. Because if you provide everyone with road capacity so that they can drive, then...
I live in Las Vegas and the loop is finished and it's literally a fucking Tesla advertisement. The vehicles go at like 20 miles and have drivers. What?
Everyone will drive. Driving itself is actually very cost and time efficient on short and middle
Oh, so the Vegas loop is not from Vegas to LA. Okay, I misunderstood.
distances. And also it's much more comfortable than public transit. However, the bad part is everything else. Cars are horribly space inefficient, they make us fatter, they cost a lot of money to buy, maintain and operate, they kill a lot of people, and producing them is actually very environmentally unfriendly, especially with the batteries and all that. And even if some of these problems could be alleviated by gigantic underground tunnel systems and parking lot complexes, switching over society to cars would produce a lot of socioeconomic and environmental fallout for places that don't have these things. In Prague, they built this huge system of underground highways to alleviate the traffic problems. And guess what? It didn't solve anything. In fact, it only made the problems worse. 8 out of 10 people from around the city commute into the city by car. And the result is clogged up streets and constant traffic jams in the places where there aren't any highway tunnels. In the end, we should focus on building urban areas where having a car is not a necessity, or even disincentivized. If we want to start combating climate change effectively, we should stop dragging 2 tons of metal and plastic with us wherever we go. And the planning of neighborhoods should enable this choice. You know, like new urbanism, walkable city, 10-minute neighborhood, all these things. It's a complex and difficult solution to a complex and difficult problem. And I don't think it's a good idea to look to rich, out-of-touch carmaker billionaires to just solve climate change with a revolutionary idea or two. Or in the case of Elon Musk, flashy CGI remakes of century-old ideas. Because if an idea sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. And if you're a fan of Elon Musk, who happened to chance upon this video, please understand that this video...
Your take on SpaceX is wrong. No other company / country has reusable rockets, stage 1 rockets. Dog, I understand. You're not understanding what I'm saying. It's not like Elon Musk is the first person to decide we should make reusable rockets. Or it's not like he's the one who fucking built the reusable rockets. He did not fund it. Okay, the government funded it. The technology was built on prior research that was, again, conducted by the government scientists. Okay? This would already work without Elon Musk manning the helm.
All these daily streams, whether big or whether small. So there he is again. The sun is streaming. The sun is streaming.